In today's video I'm going to be going through the tutorial for my own designed pattern. It will be my first pattern I've released for a Highland Cow glasses holder. So yeah, take your glasses and you put them in there. It looks adorable. It'll be more of a beginner's tutorial, so it'll be talking through step by step how to do like the slip stitch and the magic ring, and it'll be slowed down, but there will be the pattern on the top if you want to speed up the video and not listen to me jabbering on. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I'm hoping to be doing more tutorials, more market videos. Yeah, so let's get started. So here's everything that you'll need to make your glasses holder. An 8mm crochet hook. Your yarn, I use Utopia Crafts Cuddle Super Chunky yarn. If you use smaller yarn or a different type of yarn, the size of the glasses holder will be affected. I used caramel colour and milkshake colour. I also used some 18mm safety eyes. You'll need a pair of scissors, a darning needle or embroidery needle. I love these because they've got a bigger loop on the end, which is easy to put the big yarn through. You can use tools to insert your safety eyes if you need them. Something to measure your glasses holder, either a tape or a ruler, anything will do. A stitch marker. And I also used a lighter and a spoon for the back of the eyes. These are all the stitches that we'll be using and the abbreviations for them. They are all in US terms. So starting off with the base in caramel colour, we'll make a slip stitch. So wrap around your finger, hold with your thumb, wrap the working yarn around, take the back loop and pull it over that loop and over the end of your finger. Insert your hook and then pull your tail to tighten the loop. You then want to wrap your yarn around your hand to get the tension. So I go over my hand, over my finger. So then you'll yarn over, pull through that loop, that's one chain, yarn over, pull through again, 2, 3, 4, and you keep going until you have 17 chains. Try to keep your chain as straight as you can, so you can feel on the back that there's a bump. You want that bump to be on the back the whole time. And as you're moving up the chain, you want to move your fingers up with it. For round 2, still working in a row, you want to go into the second chain from your hook. So that's 1, that's 2. So you put your hook in there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. That's 1. Hook in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 2. And you want to go 16 down with that. So keep going till you get to 16. So this is number 16. And then you're going to go down the other side of that chain. So you're going to go over to the other side into that very first loop on the back of that chain, and you're going to single crochet 16 all the way down. So that's 1, 2, 3, and keep going. So from here on we'll be working in the round, which is just going around the project rather than turning. So you'll insert your hook into the first stitch, and for this you're going under both loops. Put a stitch marker through both loops, and then in the same stitch do another single crochet. That's one increase. Then you're going to do another increase, which is 2 in the same, and then a third increase, and then single crochet 12. After your 12 single crochets, you want to make sure that the 4 increases go around where it curves, so 1 2 3 4 around. So insert your hook, 1, back in the same, that's 1 increase, and then keep going all the way around. After your 4th increase, you'll then do 12 single crochets down the other side, and in the last one next to the stitch marker you'll have your final increase. So you want to count your stitches and make sure that you've got 40 going all the way around. It's not massively important if you're one short or one too many, as long as the measurements are right. So single crochet 1, put your stitch marker in, and then you want to single crochet all the way around. So as you can see, that single crochet going around has lifted up the sides, so it's kind of closed in a little bit. So now you want to cut your yarn. You don't need a long tail because you're just going to be weaving that end in, and fasten off. So you just pull your hook up and pull that tail, and that's how you fasten off. Size is really important with it being a functional item. You don't want it too big or too small. So if you take your ruler or your measuring tape, you want to make sure that the width is around 18 centimetres. So this one's 19, which is fine, it's close enough. And then measure the other way, and that should be around 7, which this one was, so that's great. I've made many, and some are slightly bigger, some are slightly smaller. You can always take your glasses and pop them in to see if it's around the right size, if you have glasses. That fits nice for mine. Some are bigger and some are smaller, so a bit extra room, it would be okay as well. So then you want to take your darning needle. This can be a bit fiddly sometimes. So thread your needle. With it being a shorter tail, your needle can slip off, but that's okay. So you just want to weave through a few of the stitches on the back. I like to go around 2 inch along, but there's no exact science to it. So you want to pull that through. Make sure that you pull your piece out so that it's not too tight, and pop your needle back along through a few stitches. Mine popped off, so I just needed to thread it again, which can be a little bit fiddly, and pull it back through. Fabulous. Sometimes if you pull too hard with these needles, the elasticy bit around the top, the wiry bit, can snap. I've snapped a few. You just have to be gentle with them, but they're so much easier to thread this big chunky yarn on. So thread your other tail and then do the same thing again, just weave it in. With this one I like to go through that first stitch just to get it to the back, and then turn it over and weave it in again. And then just chop off your tail And that's your base completed. Take your stitch marker out. So now we're going to be making the nose. So get your milkshake yarn, and for this we're going to chain and work around like we did with the base. So you're going to make a slip stitch, same way we did, around your finger hold, around your other finger, pull the back loop over the loop on your finger, hook in, pull. And that's done. So you want to chain 5, 4, 5, and then in the second chain from the hook, same as we did with the base, you're going to go through and single crochet 4 down this chain, down this side. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then same as the base, you're going to work on the opposite side. So make sure you go into that very first stitch, the top of it, and that can be a little bit awkward to get into. As you can see, I'm struggling. Get in there. Yep, there we go. That's 1. Oh, it always goes wrong when you want to do it on a camera, doesn't it? There we go. That's 1. Single crochet. 2, 3 and 4. And then slip stitch into that first one, and then you can fasten off. So chop your yarn, leave a decent tail because you're going to be sewing this onto the base, and pull through to fasten off. Then you want to take some yarn in a caramel colour. You don't need too much. You want to thread this onto your needle, and we're going to be putting on the little nostril details. These don't have to be too perfect, so you want to put your needle through the back, come up, pull it through and leave a tail on the back so you can fasten off, and go down a stitch and pull through. You need to make sure that you don't pull through too tight, otherwise your nostril will go too little. You can adjust it slightly, but you want to be able to see it. So my yarn fell off my needle again. So then go across, go through the back again, pull through again, not too tight, otherwise you'll pull it the other nostril too tight. And then go down a stitch and back through. If you've made them too loose, you can pull the tails to make them tighter, or if they're too tight, you can put your needle in the front and pull them up, which will loosen them. Now you want to tie this in a double knot, and when you do this first one, don't pull too tight, and a second knot there, and then you can take your scissors and just cut those ends really short because you're not going to see them, they're going to be sewn onto the base. You can check how it looks on your base, make sure that it looks like it should, and then weave in this tail from where you made your slip knot. Same process as weaving in as you did on the base. So now on to the horns. These are probably the fiddliest bit with this yarn being so chunky. So we're going to do a magic ring. So wrap it around 2 fingers, hold with your thumb, hold with your back finger. So around 2 fingers, hold in place with your thumb, hold in place with that. Then you want to go under both, pull the back loop up, go round the back and pull that loop through, and then chain to secure it and stop it coming apart. That bit can be hard, so you can always replay the video. So then you want to single crochet 4, so you go under both of those loops. That's the second, third and fourth. You can slow this bit down if it's too quick. So pull your hook out, take this tail, you want to make sure that it's on the inside, and pull. Sometimes your yarn snaps, so don't pull too fast or too hard, and you can chop off a bit of that tail if it's too long. It is the hardest part, and trying to do it with only 4 makes it even more difficult. It is easier when you do 6 or 8 into your ring. So then you want to count round your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ignore that little loop at the back, you don't need that. So go into that first full stitch you can see. And this bit is tricky because it's really awkward to get your hook in, particularly on that first one. So if you're really struggling like I was, you can put your needle under those 2 stitches, pull it up a little bit, give it a wiggle, and it goes in easier. So that's 1. Move along to the next. They are further apart than you think as well. 2. If you need to add a stitch marker at the beginning of the round, you can do. 3. And last one is 4. Get in there. So now you want to pull your hook up and make sure that it's the right way around. So your stitches should be on the top, so you want to just kind of push the middle bit out so it makes the top of the horn. I have dinky fingers, so I do it with my fingers, but you can use the end of your hook if you need to. So you then want to put your hook back through your loop, pull your working yarn down, make sure it's nice and tight, and you can tuck your tail in if you want. You can chop it shorter too, but I like to tuck it in. So then 4 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you want to fasten off the same way as we have done before in the video. So chop your yarn, leaving a tail for sewing, and pull your hook up and out, and that's number 1. Then you want to make a second horn in the same way, just rewind and replay if you need to. So now we're going to make the ears. So it's the same again with a magic ring. However, I'm going to do a magic ring different this time. So I'm going to do it the 2 chain method. So wrap the yarn around your finger, take the tail yarn, pull the loop over the front loop over your finger, put your hook in, and then pull the tail tight. So the tail should now tighten your work. Chain 1, chain 2, and then not the one that's on the hook, you're going into that second chain down. So you want to yarn over, put your hook through the loop, pull through, so you've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through those 3, that's 1 half double crochet, yarn over, through the same space, yarn over, pull through all 3, that's 2, yarn over, through, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, till you have 8. So sometimes here you'd slip stitch. We're not going to do that, just leave it as it is, gives it more of an ear look. leave a long tail, cut your tail and fasten off. And you need to make 2 of these. You can pull your tail to tighten the end. Now you want to weave in the tails from your magic ring. So rather than going in and out of lots of stitches, I just tend to go backwards and forwards through and chop it so it's on the inside of the ear. You'll see how it curves round. So now we move on to assembling the glasses holder. So the first thing you want to put on is your nose. You want to put it in the middle on the bottom. You want to go through the middle, so through the middle of the nose, through the middle of the glasses holder. Count your stitches along if you need to work out where the exact middle is. It doesn't have to be too perfect. So thread your yarn through so you're on the underside of the nose, and then you want to go through both loops and pull, and then through the middle of the nose. I just pull up a hook through the back. You can go in and out. I just think it looks neater doing it that way. So through the back, through a loop and pull through and go all the way along. Make sure that you check it to see how it looks and add more stitches if needed. I've just used my needle to pull up the nostril slightly because it had pulled in as I was sewing. And then you want to weave in your ends through the back. Just the same method we've done throughout the rest of the video to weave it in. And then chop off your tail, and that's your nose on. Next we're going to add the ears. So you'll see the ears have a curve, so you want that bit to be facing up. So on the base you want to go around to where it starts to curve upwards and then add your ears in the same way that we added the nose. So through the loop, then come back through the ear, through another loop. If you pull your stitches quite tight, you can't see the yarn as easy. Pull through and just keep going and sew it on. And weave your tail in like we did on the nose, and cut your tail, and then do the same on the other side for the other ear. So now we're going to add the horns. So you want to, same again, thread your needle, and you want to put the horn in the stitch right next to where your ear ends. Pull it up so it's the right way. Because we haven't closed the horn, you want to go through both sides, so right through the back, through the front, and then through another stitch, and then keep going. And then you want to hide your yarn inside the horn. So to do that, you just thread your yarn up through the centre of the horn, pull the yarn tight, and then cut really close to the horn. Give the horn a little wiggle and it'll just tuck itself inside, and then it's hidden. So up through, pull it out, pull it tight, and then cut, and then do the same for the horn on the other side. And now we're going to add the eyes. So I like to put my glasses inside the holder to see where to place them. Roughly in the middle, about 7 stitches apart, but they don't have to be exact because you get different size glasses. So I just put them in, make sure it looks adorable. And then I'll add the backs for my eyes on. These are quite easy to put on. You get them sort of one click down, and then I like to turn them over and I use my tool to push them down so they're firmly on. And then for this next bit, I've done many times, but with it being fire, you'll have to be really careful. You could have a bowl of water ready in case you set something on fire. So I hold the flame to the black part, to the back of the safety eye, usually for around 10 seconds. And then I use a spoon to smooth around and down the edges. This is just so that it's not sticking out and sharp. You can choose to use felt eyes if you don't want to do this. You could needle felt your eyes. There's lots of different ways to do it. These are just the ones that I like to use. And then just straighten your bits back out. Take your bits of fluff off. It's because I squished him. So now we're going to add his hair. So take your caramel yarn and your hook, go into the stitch right where the horn has been sewn on, pull your yarn through, make a slip stitch, and then you want to chain 6, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then slip stitch back into that very first stitch. And there you've got a little loop through his hair. So then you want to go into the next stitch along, slip stitch again, chain 5 this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch back into that same stitch. And then you're just going to repeat this until you get to the next horn. So slip stitch, then chain 6, and then slip stitch back into the same one, slip stitch along right until you get to the next horn. So then when you get to your last one, you want to slip stitch into that last stitch and then cut your yarn and fasten off. So just pull. And then you want to weave in that tail the same way we have throughout, and weave in the tail from the starting slip stitch. And then that's your Highland Cow glasses holder finished. Check to make sure that your glasses go in and it looks dead cute. I also like to turn it over, and where you can see the see-through parts on the back of the safety eyes, I colour this in black just so it's less obvious, really. That's all that is. Thank you very much for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like me to do some more tutorials. I will have a written pattern available to buy on my Etsy page. If you prefer to have one, you can
have on your phone or you can print out. I will also have the pattern available for free on my Instagram page if you'd like to check that out. I will link everything in the description box. Thank you.